All right, you are now live.
Great, thank you. So, hi everyone, welcome to the September 18th meeting of the Youth Advisory Committee. I would like to begin by first reading the land acknowledgement. So, the Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. So, first, we'll just go through the list and ask that everyone check that their mic and video is working. So we can sort of just proceed and I don't have them. I'm looking at the agenda, so I actually can't see the list of people, but we'll just go through the list here. So Abraham,
Yes, my camera and audio works.
perfect. Crystal,
Yes, my camera and audio are working.
perfect. And I don't know if Simone is had a chance.
Simone hasn't joined quite yet.
Right, no worries. And Hanya, okay. Heba, okay. Isabella, Damini. I know I saw her name.
Hello.
Hi, my camera and
Hi there, good to proceed. Just I didn't hear I think there's some overlap, but in any case, I'll continue. So Bianca,
My audio and my video working.
thank you. And Gabrielle.
Gabrielle hasn't joined the meeting yet, but I will
No
keep my
worries.
eyes peeled.
Great, thank you. So with that, we'll sort of move on to the approval of the minutes for the last meeting on June 16th. So I'll first ask if there's any changes the committee would like to make to those minutes. If no, then I'll now call for a motion to approve the minutes. And friendly reminder, this will require both a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Thank you.
Second.
Wonderful. And we now vote on the motion that the minutes of June 16, 2025, the Youth Advisory Committee be approved as presented. And I call now for the question. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand within Zoom.
Aye. Aye.
I.
And then all those who oppose say nay or raise your hands in the Zoom portal. And just make sure to lower your hand if you had put it up earlier. Okay, thank you. And I'm sort of looking at the agenda. I was imagining if did the motion pass in terms of the votes?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. So the motion passes. And then the next item is now the order of business for today. I know that we sort of briefly talked regarding regarding sort of an amendment, and that was to request that item 7.3.1 be considered after item 9.1.2. And we'll just need a mover and a seconder to sort of to request that.
I'll move.
And now we just need a seconder.
I'll second.
Great. So we are now voting on whether to request that or to amend the agenda that item 7.3.1 be considered after 9.1.2. So just we'll now vote on this. So all those in favor say aye or raise your hand in Zoom.
Aye. Aye.
And now all who oppose say nay or raise your hands. And the motion, thank you. So now the motion carries. Are there any other amendments that anyone would like to make to or any items that anyone would like to add to the agenda other than this change? Okay, so now I'm going to call for a motion that the agenda be approved as amended. So this will call for a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Wonderful, thank you. And now we're going to vote on whether that the agenda be approved as amended. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
And now all who oppose say nay or raise your hand. And thank you, the motion carries. And now I'm going to ask if there's any conflicts of interest that any of the committee members would like to declare relating to one of the agenda items today. And if there aren't any, then the meeting will proceed. And I'll just ask if there has been, move on to item 7.1 and see if there has been any correspondence received by the clerk's office.
No correspondence has been received by the clerk's office.
Thank you. And any petitions received by the clerk's office?
No petitions have been received.
Perfect, thank you. And as we sort of mentioned, we'll now be moving on to item 9.1.1, which is regarding the 2025-26 Youth Advisory Committee work plan. And I think we sort of just wanted to open the floor for discussion regarding the work plan first. I think it's sort of maybe beneficial that we can go through it. Are we able to display that on the call itself?
Yeah, absolutely. Just hold on one moment. I'll bring it
Thank
up
you.
and I can share it on my screen.
Wonderful.
So in the meantime, actually, if you want to get someone to put the motion on the floor, so just a mover and a seconder, and then get someone to read the motion, and then once it's on the floor, the committee can discuss the work plan.
And is that motion to approve it or just to discuss it?
It will just be it will be the motion to approve it, but I guess, yeah, if you don't
Yes.
want to necessarily approve it yet and you just want to discuss it, then we can do that first.
Yeah, I think it's good just to go over it, just so
Sure.
just to make sure that we're all on the same page.
All right. My calendar is taking a little bit to load here, but be a minute. All right, I'm sharing it right now. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. I think it's still loading. Oh, now I'm seeing it starting to come up.
Right, is that
Now we see it. Thank you. Or at least I do.
okay? And let me just try to make it a little bit bigger here as well. Okay, that should kind of be a little more full screen.
Yes, no, that's great. And I think how I'm thinking is that we maybe just go through it sort of like priority by priority, and then maybe we can sort of have like a conversation or or a discussion regarding each priority, then sort of just go through them that way. If that sounds good to the group.
Sure. Sorry, I'm getting, one second. I'm just.
Yeah, no worries.
Right, because I'm getting a pop-up from Adobe.
No worries. Adobe's always a hassle anyways, in case.
Always. Okay. Should be okay now. All right, yeah. So if the committee, wants to go through and discuss the priorities, we have the first one.
Great. And the first priority is regarding health and wellness, with there being a particular emphasis on resources for youth. And I think there was a few of us who were there for the that sort of planning meeting earlier, and I think it was August or July. In any case, we sort of discussed addressing food insecurity, youth mental health supports, active opportunities for youth, as well as housing resources for youth living rough. And looking now at the action items, at least in terms of the measurables, and review at least seven existing policies that impact youth. We'll make 7 to 9 motions to the executive standing committee pertaining to youth and wellness. Those will receive presentations from community organizations with information. Okay, so what are our thoughts on these? Any comments? Anything that anyone would like added, or any sort of just feedback on how we feel about the first priority? I can start off a bit with. I think it's it's something that we've certainly thought about in the past, and I think that it's still something that's quite relevant for youth today. I think one of the nice things about it is that we've sort of delineated some action items, and sort of some concrete measurables, which I think is important just to ensure that just to sort of help keep pace throughout the year. And I do think that's something in particular I know this is sort of an exciting year where the rec center is sort of, are sort of like reformulating their youth plan for the year. So I think that, it's a good time to sort of look into a lot of these, and I think that, we certainly have a lot of room to sort of make some impact on those. But if there's nothing further on that, then I think we can maybe proceed to the second item. That was regarding, thank you, and that was regarding the employment and volunteer opportunities. I think that was another item that we sort of discussed at our last meeting, where we noted that there is, obviously Nova Scotia and Halifax and the rest of the country is sort of battling rising youth unemployment, and I think that it's important that we acknowledge that. And I think that we sort of talked about a lot of the help sort of build that skill set when it comes to that. And I think particularly I heard about a new initiative that's been started by the provincial government regarding giving credits to like high school students for their classes for when they go into for when they like participate in either like volunteers coaching or anything to do with sort of like sports or officiating. So I think that that's something that's definitely interesting, and I wonder if that's something we can talk about further and see if that's something we can integrate a bit with like the municipal aspect of things, and see if there's any ways to maybe they expand that in terms of sort of like outside of sports. But
Cyril, do you know which level of government that funding is coming from? Is it municipal?
That's
or
provincial. That's
Oh,
provincial.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's provincial. But it's a good idea because it's sort of under the lens of, this is the education is provincially sort of regulated. So that's
Yeah.
sort of where they're coming in. They're saying, like we'll offer high school students, like grade 12, grade 11 students credits if they, either do a certain number of hours of refereeing or sports coaching or stuff like that.
And is that limited to sports coaching within high school as well, or is it like younger levels of education?
It's mainly geared towards high school, just where it's giving them like credits towards their high school diploma. So instead of taking like an extra
Okay.
class, like an extra elective or whatever it may be, they can get like that credit this way.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And it's something I honestly just recently heard of. And it's I think it's something they piloted a bit last year, and then it's something they started. But I think it's more of an initiative from I don't know if it's like Department of Health and Wellness or something like
Okay.
whatever the department is that's involved in sports and sort of wellness.
Okay, that's pretty good to know. Thank you.
No worries.
I believe it's a grant through Community Cultures and Heritage is the department.
That's great. Thank you. I had half the story, but thank you for completing it. Yeah, if you can maybe just scroll down for the actionables for that item, unless if there's, I think it's, or if that is those three, I believe. Yeah, perfect thing. I just want to make sure. And yeah, I think those are good actionables. And once again, sort of just having that to work with. Any other comments or ideas or anything else regarding the second item?
I just noticed for like the performance indicators, it says like we have to review like at least 7 existing policies. So like when we review
Yeah.
them, is it like after presentations, like we like review them, or is it like like how would that work to like sit down reviewing like policies and stuff? You know?
Yeah, I think there's sort of a couple ways we could do it. I think, as you said, one way could be, like if we have a presentation, like we maybe sort of do some research beforehand, and we bring in a couple policies that are currently around that, and then sort of like examine them more from a youth lens. I think that's a good idea. We could also, like, if people have noticed something before the meetings and they say like this is a policy that I've heard of, or I think that we could maybe look into a bit further. I think I would love to hear what the rest of the group has to think, but I think, maybe sort of doing a combination of both could be a way to approach it. And just that way it keeps some momentum where we sort of examine policies from surrounding each of the presentations that we receive. Well, I think Hiba is just, I think Hiba recently said that her screen is frozen. Can you, are you able to hear better now, Hiba? Or are you still having some issues?
Maybe try leaving and rejoining the meeting. That might help. And it looks like Bianca has
Yes, your hand's up. I just saw that. Bianca.
Yeah, thank you for that. For this priority, I was wondering if anytime soon we're going to be partnering up with some companies, maybe to like host a job fair, or would that be possible on our end so we could promote this priority?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's certainly we can certainly look into ways sort of get involved as the youth advisory committee. I think the one thing I would look into is whether is this like, I know there are often like existing, like there are oftentimes, I know the convention center, they have a couple like they do have job fairs sort of that happen in frequently to a certain degree. And I wonder, we should just consider whether we'd want to host our own one, or see, like, is there any way we can collaborate with an existing job fair and just maybe see, can we make it so that there's an increased youth presence at those job fairs, or maybe an increased, like, more targeting towards youth specifically. But I'm open to hear sort of more about, like, how do you think we would best sort of target youth?
I kind of want to add on that. So what target, like what age group are we thinking? Are we targeting high school or university?
I think right now we should go for university because I don't think many high school students can that can work right now. I think mostly university students, or I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Because if it was high school, then CPA, they do host like a yearly job fair, but it's only targeted towards high school students.
Wonder though, I mean, if we could almost do both, right? Like, I think I'm just thinking, I think that, I mean, obviously there are some differences in terms of the jobs that, like, let's say someone in grade 10 or 11 might target versus like someone who's like 24, 25. But I think that there's still quite a bit of overlap, like, especially in that, and oftentimes it could be if someone's seeking, I'll sort of ask for the people who are still in high school. Like, do you find that there are still, like, I know when I was in high school, usually most people would still, like, most people I knew in my class would at least have a job or be searching for a job. Is that something that, from what I've read, or from what I've heard, it sounds like it's still an issue? But is that something that, like, you're noticing at CPA, for example?
Yes, definitely. I think it's
Okay.
been a rising issue, and it's like
Yeah.
definitely nowadays it's more concerning. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why we can't do both. I mean, if we can even have some, if we can, even work with some of the schools in terms of their job fairs, it doesn't have to be just CPA. It can be CPA in other schools as well. And I think probably I just want to be cognizant of the amount of effort that it goes into, organizing these job fairs, and I think maybe organizing a job fair, if we want to, absolutely, is something we can look into. But I just want to make sure that we're not putting, that, we are able to sort of create, meaningful events that will be helpful to students. And I wonder if it might be more beneficial to sort of approach it more from collaborating with maybe like existing job fairs and seeing what can we do to get more companies and more, find better, more ways for youth to get more jobs, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that could work because we don't technically have like an established audience yet. So if you do collaborate with existing job fairs, then you'll get more people to know about the opportunities present.
And that's a great point, honestly, and also that's a good idea as well for sort of long term for the committee as well. It's, this could be a great way to sort of dip our toes in that and and then, hopefully, I mean, obviously it would be fantastic if in a few years we could build up to have our own job fair. But maybe something like this could get us sort of in terms of, help us build some connections with local corporations, and then we can sort of build on that for future years. But I do think it's a great idea that all of you have brought up.
I was going to say, like, since we all go to like different schools, should we try and like talk to them? Because I know like my school sometimes they have fairs on like job fairs or volunteering fairs. Do you think we should talk to them and then see like how we can maybe like collaborate or like try and like be partners with them and stuff like that? Like, do you think that'd be easier for us?
I think that's absolutely a great way to approach things. And I think, as you said, there's no harm in reaching out to the schools and seeing that can become more involved. And I also wonder from our point of view, like, I do think that our committee does, the Halifax Youth Advisory Committee, I think, bears weight, and I hope that if we collaborate with schools, and are we able to maybe help convince people to come to these job fairs that might otherwise not come, and just sort of approach it through the lens of, we're the Youth Advisory Committee, we're, running a campaign or an effort this year to increase youth employment. And, we would love for you to, be able to attend the job fair and, hear from students and on, the skills that they can offer, and that, how we can, continue to work together. I think that's a great idea.
I also had a question. So when we go into the job fairs specifically, like what are we going to be like advertising for HRM jobs? And if we do we have to have people from those departments and stuff also there with us? Or would you just be us like trying to sell the job to them. I kind of, that's the part I'm like not really getting.
Yeah, and I guess it would be, at least my impression is, would be less so necessarily advertising Halifax jobs, unless if there's, I know there's the programs that we sort of already heard of, that can offer sort of some skills building, but sort of the vision that I have is like we want to think what are the barriers for, I guess it's a good question to ask for everyone, like for especially for the people in high school, what are the barriers that youth are facing when it comes to getting jobs? Is it skills when it comes to CV building, interview skills? Is it a simple lack of entry level jobs in the marketplace? Is it a lack of sort of like part-time jobs that are flexible enough for a student's schedule? I'll sort of throw that to the group, and I think this is an excellent brainstorming session, just so that we can ensure that that we can create some targeted efforts. I know that's a tough question to ask because we're sort of almost asking about macro, look, talk about economics here, but like what are, like, let's say that for those of you who are in high school or in early university, which is, or university age, what do you hear people are saying that because I've heard some things, but I want to hear what are you guys hearing that is the struggle when it comes to getting a job or finding a job?
I think it's access to job. Oh, sorry, I just started speaking, but I think it's access to jobs. I'm no longer in university right now, graduated, but it's lack of access. Being at that age, you don't have some of the resume experience that maybe some of the people who you're competing against do. And with the way that the economy is going right now, a lot of jobs that used to be for high school or people of university age are now becoming adult full-time jobs. And so I think there's that lack of opportunity, and also with the way everything is becoming more technological, all corporations are resorting to downsizing on their teams, and so that puts us at a disadvantage because at the end of the day, a lot of places want where can we add value, where can we as students add value to a place where it might be easier to just get someone who is full-time and doesn't have exams to worry about or classes to figure out in the scheduling. So it's finding out what is that, where is that. That's my thought.
That's a great point, Crystal. I don't know who had their hand up the longest between Bianca and Simone, but one of you is welcome to go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay?
A bit faint, but we can hear you.
I have my AirPods in and they kind of, I guess I'll just
Right.
talk really loud.
That's better. That's good. Now
Okay.
it's good. That's perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, I like what Crystal said. I feel like there's kind of like the existence of entry level jobs has kind of changed a lot. Like entry level used to mean zero experience whatsoever. And now entry level means having a 4-year degree and 2 years of experience in a relevant field. But kind of aside from that, like I just want to make sure we don't like overwhelm ourselves with like kind of like bite off more than we can chew. I think a good place we can kind of start is like recognizing that a lot of youth, like where they first start out with getting their job experience is through like volunteer opportunities. And even like the experience, like being on this committee, this is like a great volunteer opportunity that a lot of, like I think factored into me getting my full-time employment. And I think a lot of youth don't know that there's opportunities like this available with the municipality and with like all the amazing resources that we have as a committee and all the amazing groups that have presented to us. So I'd be kind of starting there and recognizing like what do we already have and like how can we like make sure youth are aware that like they can apply to be on the youth advisory committee and they can apply to do like volunteer with all these other organizations that a lot of them are not for profits that we hear from pretty often.
That's a great point as well. And I think that's an important perspective that you brought as well, that, you know, it's important, as you said, not to, you know, try and focus on, you know, as you said, like not sort of go too expansive on stuff. And I think that that's an important point to just ensure that we stay grounded in our work. I do like that perspective. Thank you for that perspective as well regarding volunteering. I think that, as you said, there is a huge lack, you know, a huge lack of awareness there. But I'll go to Bianca.
I do agree with the previous points that were made about the skills and how that we need to first open up with volunteer opportunities in order for students like me to get their feet started and getting a job. But to add on to why there's a barrier in accessing jobs as high school students is our limitation of our schedules. When you're a student, you can't really work from 9 until 3 p.m. because you're studying. And as opposed to someone who is like not a student, they can work the entire day. There's no limitations. They can work until 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. And even holidays they can work. They can also work on work days, not just on weekends. So that's a very big limitation for students.
That's a great point, Bianca. Olivia.
Yes, I just wanted to jump in and talk about, like, as this is like a year-long plan, it sounds like there's lots of places we can go with it. But to think of something concrete that we can do right now, there is a volunteer conference coming up. It's hosted by the municipality, and it's a great networking opportunity, a great opportunity to hear from folks who work in that space. And I don't know exactly what the goals would be for this committee, but it might be something we can look into to see if there's funding available for the committee to go to this conference for professional development, or I don't know exactly what the options are here, but that might be a great way to start before we try and put on our own job fair, to start and see what's out there. So it is in November, so it's something we can talk about moving forward. And if people are interested in that, I can see if that is something that can happen. But just wanted to throw out there that also connects with our goal for volunteering opportunities, not just employment ones. So yeah, I do think I can see if there's funding for it. I believe it's $40 for a full day. If not, but I wonder if there's a way that the committee can go for that. And it would be like an outside of this commitment. So I might be overstepping, but I thought that might be a great opportunity to share with everyone.
No, thank you for that. It looks like, you know, we already have some people in the chat who are interested as well. So thank you. Zoya, and actually then now that you're here, I can, if you want to take over the reins, feel free to.
Sure, thank you so much. I'm really sorry to have missed the first half hour. I did not think that the bus would be 45 minutes late. Anyways, I did have a point that I was thinking of while you guys were talking. One of them kind of based off of what Olivia was just saying. I know that Halifax hosts job fairs every maybe it's like every September, October, and I think it's more kind of catered towards high school graduates, university students, and also like further professional development. But is there any way that and also if someone could confirm if that's actually like a municipality thing or just Halifax as a city, but would there be any way for us to have like maybe a stall or a booth there or something, just so that for youth who come into those career events, like sometimes it might feel a bit intimidating for them to go up to like a professional or a company and talk to them, even if they could just come to us as a starting point. I feel like that would be a great way to reach maybe kind of like the younger demographic that go to these community or hiring fairs. And the other point I was thinking of, this was mostly just based off of my university experience, or as you get more specialized into looking for work. Um, I've heard a lot that many companies don't want to put in like the resources and the hours into training entry level, I guess student graduates. They'd rather go for someone intermediate with already like a few years experience, as Crystal was talking about. And this is more of like an internal company issue, but I think it is also like the fact that people are short on resources, that they'd rather not spend the time training someone who's just graduated from university. And honestly, like there's not too much that volunteering and stuff like that could do for specialized jobs, but it is something to think about. And I do feel that that kind of brings down the hope in a lot of graduating students. But the career fair is something that I was thinking of maybe for our committee to look into. Oh yeah, Elizabeth, go ahead.
So I just wanted to respond to kind of what you said, Zoe, and I'm not sure. I'll hand this over to Olivia after in case she knows anything about it. I don't personally know if HRM does host a job fair. They definitely may. Olivia, I don't know if you know anything about it, but we can definitely look into it and then see if they do in fact host a job fair, if there could be like some youth representation there or a booth. But yeah, I don't really know anything about off the top of my head, but
I feel like I've seen something in the past, but not in my role. So it's definitely something we can look into. And maybe by going to the volunteer conference, I feel like the people involved in that might be similar. So it might be a good bridge to
totally.
that. Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add to this? I guess the discussion? Or wait, no, could someone actually catch me up on what we've been talking about or where we're at in the agenda? And then I'll open it up on my end.
We just finished the second point,
Oh,
the second
perfect.
priority. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I guess number 3 is engagement and outreach with an emphasis on community building. Okay, maybe this could be like more towards the volunteering stuff that we were talking about, because that's a great way to make connections and then build that sense of community with youth. Are there any like organizations that people were thinking about? I know that the next order of business that we should kind of get to before our next meeting is coming up with those social media bios that Damini had sent in our group chat, just filling in that information, maybe a picture if we have one, so we can get the social media engagement going. But in terms of, I guess, organizations. Oh, Bianca, did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I was thinking organizations, nonprofit organizations. I know a couple of environmental nonprofit organizations, for example, Ecology Action Center or Sierra Club Canada. They offer lots of volunteer opportunities. And when you volunteer for an environmental nonprofit, it gives students a background in research, administrative work, or public outreach, which is a great step for getting a job.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure we've had the Ecology Action Center come in for a presentation or two. Yeah, Olivia?
I was just going to say that since we last met, I have taken over the Instagram that the youth section runs, the Halifax Next Gen Instagram, and now know what I'm allowed to post. So on the social media plan that you guys have developed, if those things are sent to me, if pictures are sent to me, things you want people to know, I can start sharing those and making that presence for on behalf of the committee. And I just wanted that update to be out there for you folks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And also on the point on the Ecology Action Center, I think one of our presentations from Abby is going to be about a program that they're running. So I think that starts in about 10 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, we can definitely ask her about that in the discussion, the Q&A part at the end of her presentation. That's a great point. Okay, so we have social media engagement, promotion of youth serving organizations, and engagement with youth in the community. In terms of organizations that are more youth serving, we've had some presentations from Phoenix House and a few others. Would it be productive to revisit that in some capacity since we have that on our work plan for this year? Or just to kind of get an update on what they've been up to, or if there's any way we can collaborate on something? Or if there's any organizations in that similar realm. think maybe we could. And yeah, does anyone have anything they want to add to any of the priorities before we move on to the next, I guess, agenda item?
I was thinking like one of the ways we can do for like having youths more like involved and stuff is like maybe for like every meeting we have, like we try and like have like a youth come in, like someone from the community, whether it's one or two people, and they just come in, like sit, see how things work out. And then like next meeting we have a different like youth from the community. Like I was just thinking like that could go like help and
That would be really great. Yeah, because I know that our meetings are open to the public. And I remember a few years ago, we'd have like journalism students and a couple others that had just heard about it come in and take notes. So maybe putting the word out there that, people are more than welcome to come join us. Yeah, Bianca?
Yeah, I agree with the idea. Maybe we could also maybe sometimes have like a live Q&A panel discussion with them so we can get like real-time feedback from them.
Elizabeth and Olivia, do you know if that's possible? Because I know when we're live streaming on Zoom, we have like, I think as an attendee, you can ask questions or watch the webinar, but in terms of in person, yeah, go ahead. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yes, I was muted. Yeah, so that is something, it's not really that complicated. It would have to be an item on the agenda, I guess. So normally non-committee members can't participate in discussions. Like they can certainly watch from either the live stream on YouTube, or if it's an in-person meeting, of course, they can like sit in the audience and then, after the meeting can engage with committee members if they would like. One option though, if you did want to engage with more community members, would be to have, kind of like an open table discussion or a Q&A type thing, but it would have to be an item on the agenda since kind of members of the public normally can't participate during committee meetings. But if that's something that you wanted to look into, that's certainly something we could look at adding to a future agenda item.
Yeah, it would be great to see if we get like any interest for it, because I know like right off the bat people wouldn't know if they want to speak or not, but if there's some way we could I don't know, gauge interest for if anyone would like to, I guess, engage in the sessions with us rather than just talking after. But I know if I had that opportunity and I wasn't on the committee, it would be really helpful.
Totally.
And
Just
yeah.
to add, sorry,
Oh, go
when
ahead.
like for like maybe a certain meeting, we just let people know what the topic is, and like for example, for the job fairs, we can have like a live Q&A for there, just in case they have any questions about any of our programs or initiatives about that.
Yeah, like letting the community know what our rough agenda is before going. Yeah. And also just be mindful of time. I know that Abby's gonna come on in a few minutes. Do we still need to call the motion to approve the work plan, right?
Yes, the motion still needs to be put on the floor.
Okay, all right. Do we want to do that now before Abby comes in? Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to the discussion? Okay, perfect. So, I call for a motion to approve the work plan. This requires a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
Okay, and the mover must read the motion in full. So I guess, do you want the word, do you want the wording for it?
Yes, how does it work?
Wait, let's put it in the chat.
I can
Okay.
send it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I can
okay.
send it in the
Okay.
chat.
Go
Here,
ahead.
let me stop sharing for a sec.
Okay.
Thanks, Abraham.
You're welcome.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just copy pasted
Oh,
something from,
yeah,
is that
so I
right?
have it there.
Okay, we got
Sorry.
it.
I literally
We
just
got
moved
it.
everything them.
Okay, so I have to say I'll move the motion and then all of that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just read out the motion. You're all good.
Okay. I move the motion that the Youth Advisory Committee approve the 2025-2026 work plan as circulated and recommend that the Executive Standing Committee review and approve the 2025-2026 Youth Advisory Committee work plan.
Beautiful, thank you. And who would like to second?
I'll second.
Perfect, thank you. All right, all those in favor, say aye or raise your hands. Yes. Yeah. And all those opposed?
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, nobody opposes. This motion carries. Perfect. So I guess we have a few minutes before Abby comes in, and then we'll move on to 9.1.2, Olivia's presentation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm actually just letting Abby into the meeting right now. So the timing should be
Perfect.
perfect. Just trying to let Abby into the meeting. It doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just going to mute and turn off my video for a second. I'm going to try to get in contact with Abby. It's not letting me promote her to a panelist, and it says she's using an older version of Zoom Workplace, so I can't ask her, like, I don't have the request feature to ask her to talk. But just one second, I'll try to get in contact with her.
Oh, just while we're all here, Hiba, is our audio coming through okay for you now? Just let us know in the chat.
Abby is in the meeting. Hi, Abby. I've promoted you to co-host so you can share your slides.
Yep, totally. Just give me 1 second to pull them up.
Sure. I can also share the slides for you if that's easier. It's up to you.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with that. Then I don't have to go find them. That would make my life a lot easier. Thank you. Sorry. I'm coming off of another call. I'm on like back-to-back calls until 8 tonight, so.
No problem. Be a minute for me to get them up. right, is everyone able to see that?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Just let me know when you're good for me to start yammering off and I'll get started.
Chair, I think, is she good to go now?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, so now we're on to 9.1.2. Oh no, we're not on 9.1.2. We're on 7.3.1. So Abby from the Ecology Action Center is going to present on the Teens for Climate program, and you can start whenever you're ready. Thank you so much for coming.
No,
Great to
thanks for
meet
having me. Great to meet you all virtually. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this quite short, so that way, if you guys have any questions, we have tons of time for that. And if you're shy like I was when I was a teen, then just shoot me an email. It'll be at the end, and I'm happy to answer any questions that come up. So yeah, my name's Abby. I'm an energy coordinator with the Ecology Action Center. I've been doing this role now. I'm going into my third year. I essentially run our e-mobility and battery storage team, which essentially, for lack of big words, means that I do stuff with like electric mobility, electric vehicles, electric buses, electric metro buses, the electric ferries, that sort of bracket of stuff. And then battery storage has been a more so recent term, as Nova Scotia's been exploring offshore wind and adding more renewables to our grid system. Obviously we need somewhere for all that power to go. So yeah, battery storage has sort of come into my list of duties in the last little while, and so has the teens group. So we started the teens group over the summer, and it was kind of because in a lot of advocacy we've been doing with EAC, or the Ecology Action Center, we often hear like you guys have programs for youth and for seniors and for parents, but you have nothing for the teens. So this is a way to engage with the teens group of an age category and to implement a team that's for teens designed by teens. So we essentially recruited a bunch of teens over the summer to help us design what they like from this kind of group. And we're going to start implementing the group as of this month, actually. So yeah, if you want to go to the next slide, Elizabeth, I'll sort of get into what the group is and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, what is Teens for Climate? So in conversations we had with youth, we essentially heard that they would love to have a space to just meet and chat and bond with other like-minded individuals. So we host monthly meetings for teens to join. It's for anyone in Nova Scotia, so you don't have to be located in Halifax. You can be from any point of the province. And you kind of have a couple different options if you join the group. You can either just join the monthly meetings and be a member, take part in conversations, meet other like-minded teens, or you could take on a project. So when we recruit you to be a part of the group, we do ask you like what your areas of interest are, what are your passions, what kind of work would you like to do with those passions? And then together we might come up with a project, either if you meet a buddy in the group or if you want to do it with your class at school or a teacher, or maybe you have a teens or a climate group with your school, or maybe you just want to go at it solo. And then the project will pair you with someone at EAC that's doing some sort of work around your project. And then you have the whole year to complete it. You can do it as fast or as slow as you want. I like to acknowledge that we're all busy. So telling you have to do this by the end of the month is just not fair to anyone. I work full time and I'm in school full time, so I don't expect you to get anything done ASAP. So yeah, you have as long or as little as you want to work on it, and it's any way you want to take it. So when having these conversations about what teens projects could be, we'll usually identify what they like to do, what are their passions, what are their interests. So if someone really likes sharks, maybe we do something around like an infographic because they were like gathering information, or maybe they really like art, we'll do some sort of like art and activism piece around shark conservation and protection and shark fishing and so on and so forth. So yeah, we really just trying to find what your area of interest is, and then what are you good at? What do you enjoy? How would you like to project that work onto the world? We're still kind of like early days in conversations with teens about what they want to do, but some like spitting some ideas out of some interest. There was some teens that wanted to do something around like heat pumps and solar panels and putting up posters around their school, and putting out like a handout in like the parent teacher monthly handouts they send out with school. Sorry, I'm not in the school system anymore, like a high school system, so I can't remember what that's called exactly. But a way to like encourage people's parents to look into heat pumps and solar panels. We've had people that are really interested in mushrooms. So they're looking to do some sort of like infographic around like different mushroom species and which ones are invasive and endangered and where you can find them and what they do. What are their medicinal benefits? Which ones can you enjoy? Which ones can't you enjoy? Sort of stuff like that. And then on top of the monthly meetings, we're also offering trainings. So while asking teens, how would you like us to create this group for you? We also kind of went one step further and we were like, what skills do you feel like you could use in post-secondary or when you start to get into the working world? So we're going to start offering these monthly trainings. They actually start next month. I'm going to pull up my list. I should have done that when I jumped on this call, and my apologies. But just to give you an idea, the first one is going to be on spreadsheet and data management. And when one of the teens requested that, and then everyone put their hands up in favor, I was so shocked because that is not something that I'd want to learn about. But like, that's so awesome that teens do, because like that is a skill that I wish I would have had before I went into my undergrad. We're having a training about how to have a climate conversation, how to deal with eco-anxiety, prepping and hosting events, community collaboration. Public speaking was a big one, which I thought was awesome. And then we're hosting a session on creative writing. I find in activism, a lot of the times you kind of have to be creative with how you have conversations with climate, with people. And that was something that we all kind of bonded on very early on in the summer. So we're having a creative writing session. So yeah, essentially that's kind of the group. It's a collaboration effort during the meetings. Sometimes we talk about random stuff. Sometimes we talk about projects. Sometimes we ask questions. Sometimes we go into the news. It's an advocacy opportunity for youth to learn how to advocate for climate issues, meet other like-minded teens, and again, designed by the teens and is virtual. Do you want to flip to the next slide, Elizabeth? That would be great. So yeah, we have 2 current projects locked in. So we have 24 members, and 2 projects are locked in and started, and the other ones are sort of in their forming phases. So we have one team that's working on transportation in rural communities that we've paired up with an EAC staffer. And they're essentially building out a map of where all the different types of rural transportation hubs are and what's lacking and what areas could use more public transit, which I thought was such a cool project and so innovative. And then the other one is actually a part of a class project, and it's for like public relations is the class project. So this team's turning it into their project for the year. And what that's going to look like is how do we like communicate climate issues to teens and young adults, and how do we share our passions without like fear mongering or without giving eco anxiety or misinformation. And that's kind of what this team's hoping to do. So again, we've paired that team with someone on our team that does communications, and the project will take shape from there. And then if you wanted to slide down to the next one, Elizabeth, thank you so much. So yeah, as I said in my earlier slide, projects can be quite literally anything. Again, I had a kid that wanted to do something with mushrooms, and I think that's so cool and so awesome, and nothing that I know anything about, but luckily we have a wilderness team for that. So if any you know anyone, or if you're interested in doing some kind of project, hit me with your best ideas, and I'm sure we can find someone that would be happy to work with you on that idea. If you wanted to flip to the next slide, Elizabeth, that would be great. Oh, I guess I kind of hinted at this already. We actually have 24 teens as of this morning. I didn't update these slides since Wednesday. The monthly meetings and the trainings, nothing is mandatory. It's all optional. Come once a month, come every 3 months, come to whatever trainings you see fit. The group is open to anyone, and so are the trainings. Anyone can join the meetings and see if it's for them, and if it's not, no big deal. You can join any trainings that you'd like. Like I said, they're throughout the entire year. The creative writing one, I believe, is in May, so they're kind of staggered. So if you heard about me today, but the only one you're interested in was the creative writing, come say hi to me again in May. This sounds great to me. And again, our first training that we're hosting is October 5th with Ben Hammer, and it's all about Excel and data spreadsheets. Any team that completes the training does receive a EAC certificate. So a little bit of bragging rights, a little bit of a resume adder there. And yeah, if you want to flip to the next slide, Elizabeth. Okay, sweet. So again, I kept it pretty brief and short because the group is kind of always evolving and changing depending on where the teams want to go with it. But we kind of have our generalized structure. But we're still talking about like, would we want to do a big project as a group? Do we like doing our individual projects? So it really is like a very collaborative, playful space, and we're happy to take the direction wherever the teams would like it to go. Again, the teens group was designed by teens, and I'm just here to help move it along and organize the meetings and take the notes and connect one another to one another. So if you have any questions or you want to learn more about the group, you're more than welcome to shoot me an email directly if you feel more comfortable that way. If you'd rather email our Teens for Climate group, it is monitored by myself and my colleague who also runs the group with me, Stephanie, who's going to be at our meeting that's actually taking place after this call, which is why I have a tight deadline today. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your ideas about the group, or if you had a project, or if you wanted to learn more about our trainings or whatever. There's a QR code on the screen. You can add in your name and your interests, and you get automatically sent to my Teens for Climate. And then I add you to our email list, and we kind of go from there. But yeah, I'd love to welcome any questions, whether it's EAC related or Teens group related. And if not, then thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abby. The first question I had was kind of a bit of a, not all of us on the committee are quite teens. A few of us graduated from there a little while ago. So would we still be kind of, if we had any ideas, we could still contact you or something like that? Because I know we wouldn't be like Teens for Climate technically, but this program seems really great.
Yeah, no, great question. When we started it, we were gearing it towards ages 14 to 18, but we do have 2 members right now that are first year university students. So we've kind of been buffering a little bit, and we have 1 member that just turned 14. So we're kind of open to whatever. Like if you want to come and see if it's for you, that's awesome. And we'd love to have you. And if it's not for you, that's great. And if it is for you, awesome. Welcome aboard. So yeah, whatever age you're at or wherever you are in your post-secondary journey, still would love to hear from you.
That's really great. A lot of what you said in your presentation, we were actually just talking about in our discussion for our work plan. Our focus for the 2025-26 term is on like kind of youth opportunities and how we can help them get into the workforce. And the fact that you guys have kind of integrated that into your climate program is it's really great because everyone comes together based on like a common interest, but then they also get professional development opportunities. And that's something we were talking about, like how we could kind of encourage youth to seek out these opportunities when, it's not as accessible to them. So I don't know, maybe some other committee members would have something to say on that too, but I think that's really great, like learning practical skills.
Yeah, no, definitely. I felt like the trainings were crucial. I mean, I'm only 2 years out of my undergrad, and I find that I'm constantly learning something new every day. But trainings usually cost money. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I don't want to spend money on, even though I want the skill. So giving these free trainings was like our way of being like, we're gonna try and help you get all the tools you need for wherever you want to go next. And I'm happy to email the posters for all the trainings to Elizabeth, who's the only person I have an email to, and she can circulate those. And if you have any friends that want to join, there's a QR code on there, so you can directly link to that meeting and set yourself up to join us if you're interested in that training or all of them, whatever you would like.
It's really great. So like other community members, even if they're not like necessarily one of the 24 on the team, they could still kind of drop in or register for the trainings.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're going to be posting all the trainings online and shared out in our newsletter. And if you're not a part of the EAC newsletter, but you're interested in hearing about the work we do, great place to put your name down on. It kind of gives like bi-monthly updates on all the work that we're doing. And it's a fun way to keep engaged with what's going on in the province or our team specifically. But yeah, these posters are going to go up around HRM and wherever I have partners in rural areas. And we're going to try and just get anyone who'd like to come. Don't have to sign up to the group. You can just come to a training.
That's really great. Does anyone else have any other questions? You can just raise your hand or unmute your mic and go for it. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask quickly, you might have said it and I missed it, but when a teen has a project, if there is any kind of financial aspect of the project, is the EAC have like a budget? Like, do they get like a $200 budget per project or anything? Is that something you help out with as well?
Yeah, no, great question. We have funding for the group right now. So we would just figure out what you're trying to achieve and how much you'd need, and then we'd probably go from there. We haven't had that come up as of yet, but the funding is there for that reason. So yeah, we'd explore that if that came up.
Thanks. That's really cool. I was also thinking like I know the placemaking project with the city is partnering with Halifax to do like micro grants for sustainable environmental climate related placemaking projects. And I was thinking that would be something that a group of teens could do something really, really cool with. Just putting that on your radar could be a great suggestion down the line.
Yeah, no, totally. I'll definitely look into that. A colleague of mine, Kate, who maybe you've heard of, she's actually offering one of our training sessions. She does the climate badge work, if you guys have heard of those at all in the group. So definitely always looking at what Halifax is doing because it's like awesome.
I don't know if you said this, but where does the meeting happen? Like, wait, like let's say kids do want to come to it, like where does it happen? You know?
Yeah, no, totally great question. They're all online as of right now. We are going to be doing a few in-person sessions. So we hosted one in-person session back in August. And again, we have funding, so we can stipend your travel journeys. Meals are covered if you had to stay overnight. That's a conversation we'd have. Other than that, the meetings all take place online. We're still picking a day. So this month we're meeting on Thursday because that's when everyone wanted to meet. But we kind of poll everyone at the start of the month to figure out what the best day is that month because I don't know about everyone on the call, but I find my schedule isn't always the most straightforward.
Oh, Crystal, I think I saw your hand up before. Did you have something you wanted to ask?
I did have a question, but Abraham's question helped my question be answered. But sounds like a really great program. Very great work. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. We're very excited. EAC is very excited about it, so it's always fun.
Is this project like funded by the government at all, whether HRM or like province or like how does the funding work?
Yeah, no, great question. So I run a few different files at EAC. Part of my file is the electric school bus campaign. If you've heard of it, we're the only province basically without an electric school bus right now. Boo. And so part of that file is to engage with youth. So I've been in high schools over 40 the last 2 years, just having conversations about electric transit, electric school buses, so on and so forth. And that's kind of how the teens group started. So I had like a small grant from my current funder to start it, and now it's funded with HRM. And then we'll look to continue to secure funding as the year comes.
Good, good.
Grant writing was also a skill that teens wanted, but it was one of the less popular votes, but we're hoping to maybe add it in at some point because it was, I mean, I don't enjoy grant writing. It's very tedious, but it is a good skill to have. So we are looking to add that one in. I'll just flag that. Just trying to find the space for it.
Oh, while we're on the topic, what are some other kind of skills that the youth kind of said that they wanted to learn?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, I was really surprised about the Excel spreadsheets skill. There was a lot of interest in doing something around like understanding the different political um sorry, I was looking at the chat. Understanding like the different political schemes, like who holds what role, who do I contact for what issues, how to do like governmental advocacy. So we might be adding that one in later as well. There was a lot of interest with eco-anxiety and that sort of topic. Gosh, I'm trying to remember now. Grant writing. Yeah, that might be all that I can remember. Sorry, that was like very early on in the summer that we picked that one, so it's a little less fresh in my brain.
No, thank you. That is really interesting to know though, like grant writing and Excel spreadsheets. The Excel is really coming through in my university year this time. That would have been good to know. And
No,
yeah,
I hear
Elizabeth,
you.
that's a good point. I'll bring up the speaking list if anyone has any last minute questions. So, Cyril, did you have anything you wanted to add or ask? Okay. And Abraham did. Crystal, Simone, anything to add or ask? Okay. And Hanya?
Nothing. I just want to say that's a great program.
Thanks, Anya.
And Hiba? And Isabella?
Rebecca actually is not in the meeting currently.
Oh, okay. All right. Damini? And Bianca?
Yeah, just one question. When you mean by 1 year, does that mean it's until like next August this program lasts?
Yeah, great question. We're trying to keep it to the school year at the moment. Just because I know summer comes around and a lot of teens typically have jobs or they want to break from using their brain. So right now we're trying to run it from September to June. And then there's the option to kind of stay involved over the summer if you choose to, but maybe not do a project. I mean, you could if you want to. Again, this is their group. They can do whatever they want with it. I'm just here to make it happen. But our overall goal was to just do September to June and then again September to June and give summers off if that was what they wanted.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course.
And you said like even if we're not teens anymore, we can still try and join the program, correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're
Uh,
more than welcome to join.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We made our way through the speakers list, but if anyone has anything else they want to ask before we move on to the next agenda item, they can go ahead. But if not, thank you so much for your time, Abby. We really appreciate it. I know you have back-to-back calls, but this is really great. And I hope we'll definitely keep looking to see what you guys are up to and kind of contribute any ideas that we have.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. And thanks so much for having me. Sorry I could only come for such a short amount of
No, no,
time.
no.
Today's was a
This is
busy day.
perfect.
Okay,
This is
amazing.
perfect. Yeah, we'll talk to Olivia and Elizabeth to see if we could maybe even like repost something on social media whenever you post about like the workshop topics or something, just so that the following that we have on the youth account that Olivia runs, if anyone is interested, they could sign up for the drop-ins. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
really great. Thank you.
no, that would be amazing. Thank you. I can even have my comms team like tag if it would be easier for your team that runs your online profiles to repost it that way. I can have Elizabeth let me know whatever's easier for you guys, but that would be awesome. And thanks so much for fitting me in and enjoy the rest of your meeting.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually so cool. She pretty much brought up a program that we were talking about in our discussion before. I think I'll definitely like see what's going on with the grant writing program because that's something that I've always wanted to learn how to do too. But yeah, did you guys have anything you want to, I guess, talk about based on that? Olivia and Elizabeth, do you know if we can do that reposting thing whenever they do kind of highlight what their workshops are? If we don't like put it on our account, but like put it on a story or something, because it's not technically like our thing. Something, perhaps. Oh, I saw. All right. Sounds good. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I asked all my questions when she was here, but if there's anything anyone else wants to kind of talk about, any ideas that you had based on that presentation, we can definitely talk about that. But if not, then I guess now we can move on to 9.1.2. That would be your presentation, Olivia.
Yeah, sure. So I'll keep this very short and sweet. The plan is to talk about this every time we meet. So I'll have updates as we go, but I'm just going to chat about the Net Youth Services Plan that Parks and Rec is working on, or I'm working on. So I think we've talked about it before, but every 3 years, the youth section with Parks and Rec does a new youth services plan, which is essentially a strategic plan for youth programming going forward. The goal of it is for it to be a youth-led process. So there's lots of engagements and feedback that we look for from youth in the community and youth service providers to make sure that the plan reflects the current needs of youth. So an update for where we are right now. The planning process has begun. So a lot of background research is being completed, a jurisdictional scan of what other municipalities are doing. I got some feedback from youth employees this summer that worked in Parks and Rec. And I'm currently getting feedback from employees that work with youth in the Parks and Rec department, as well as reaching out to some service providers. So organizations like Phoenix Youth, like we talked about, the Youth Project, and other organizations within HRM that will have insights on what is impacting youth right now, and maybe some ideas on what they think needs to be changed. And then the major thing that I'm wanted to talk to you folks about tonight is we are currently putting together a youth services plan team, and I do think some people on this committee might have been on the youth services plan team in the past, but it is separate from you folks. But you can also be involved in it. It would just be another commitment. And basically, the youth team will meet around once a month. Occasionally, it might be more often, to make decisions about what questions are we going to ask in a survey? How do we want to engage with youth? Where should we go for feedback? And then eventually they will also be the ones making decisions on what the goals and the strategic priorities are for the youth plan going forward. So it's a big responsibility, and it is a volunteer position. So applications for the youth services team will be published on September 25th or 26th, one of the two, and open until October 16th. It's just a quick little form to fill out for folks interested. So if any of you are interested in taking on that responsibility, or if you know friends that might be interested in supporting youth programming in that way, feel free to share it with them when it comes out. Maybe I'll send it to Elizabeth to share with the committee once we have all that marketing information. But if you're like, oh, that sounds amazing, but I don't have time to commit to it, that is also okay. Like I said, I will be checking in with you folks every month when we meet, and there might be moments where I ask for feedback on certain things from you folks as the advisory committee might have insights as well. So if you're unable to join that committee, and also like it might be nice to have other voices involved, but your voices will also be included. I will come to you with any pertinent information that I need some feedback on. Yeah, so I think that's kind of where we're at. Once the youth team is put together, we'll probably start putting together a survey, and the goal is to have this plan completed and published hopefully by next fall. It might not be until next winter, but yeah. Any questions about the youth services plan? Are you familiar with this process? I don't know if it's been spoken about in past years for folks that have been on the committee for a while.
I was on the youth team before, like I was on the youth advisory committee, so I don't know if that's like the same thing or slightly different, because that's the one that I was with Becca Bishop, and so I don't know if that's like the same thing.
Yeah, that would be the same thing. I did
Okay.
change the name slightly
Okay.
because it used to be called the Youth Advisory Team, and I thought that would get confusing in my brain
Okay.
to have the Youth Advisory Committee and the Youth Advisory Team. So it's just called the Youth Services Plan Team. But I do believe that's the same thing as you were on. So yeah, I don't know if you wanted to share what your experience was like on it, but it is nice to make sure that the process is youth led, and that the opinions of people who the plan will impact are prioritized in the development of the plan. And also it might be useful for the committee when we're following through on what our work plan is to be getting feedback from youth in that way as well. Could be a good crossover there.
I had a question. So if we're on the other one, like the other youth advisory, youth services team stuff, would that be conflict of interest with this being on this committee, or it doesn't matter?
I don't know. I'd have to see. There might be certain topics that it would be if you've already given your opinion, and like say I come to the advisory committee with some kind of option or opinion or some topic that I need another opinion on, and you've already shared your opinion on the youth team, that might be a place to say, okay, well, I've already given my feedback on this. We'll let other people so it doesn't double down on your opinions. But other than that, I don't know if there would be a conflict of interest. I don't think. Any other questions about that?
I was wondering, based on, I guess what I know that the plan's still in development stages, but what are some kind of questions that you think are most beneficial in asking for a survey? Because like you know how people can sometimes, not tell the complete truth in them, or maybe they don't feel comfortable doing that. So what do you think are, or how would you kind of phrase questions to get like the most value out of them and engagement, if that makes sense?
Yeah, of course. I've already had to really think about how to word questions, especially since as I'm doing the work, I use the term youth a lot. And that term youth is kind of subjective. Like, what is the age of that? What does it mean? And also, what if the people that you're trying to serve with that youth title, what if they don't identify as youth? Like, they don't know that that's them. So I know, like, the program we just heard about used the term teens, again, kind of subjective. So in wording of questions, instead of saying, what issues are youth facing, wording it like, what issues are people your age facing? Or what issues do you and people your age see? And being really mindful of that wording so that people identify it, that it's their opinion that I'm asking. I'm not asking about youth in general. It kind of brings it down to a more like personal level, I guess, and feels more attainable. But it is something that I thought about because you're right. How do we get exactly what people are thinking and not what they think I want to hear? So I have been thinking about that, and it's something that the youth team will have a say in how things are worded in that survey to make sure that they think that people their age will be receptive to that information. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think even that change is really effective and not, it's like something that most people maybe wouldn't consider, but it's effective. I would say
Yeah,
like it makes it
absolutely.
personal.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone has any other questions, you all have my email, so feel free to email any questions at any time that you may have. But like I said, I will talk about it every time that we meet. So if there's any updates, you guys will be the first to know.
Okay, thanks, Olivia. Does anyone else have any questions?
You said that it was once a month, correct? And then there might be some months where like we would have to meet more than once, correct?
Correct. And in the application form, it does ask if you're interested in meeting in person at the Powerhouse or virtually. So there would be some work with whoever ends up on the team of what day of the week we're going to meet, if it changes, if we meet in person all the time, online. So likely it would be once a month, but there might be certain months where there's a lot happening where it could be twice a month. But I do want to be mindful of the fact that it is a volunteer committee or volunteer team, and I don't want to take up too much of people's times. So there's a chance that when the team comes together, they'll be like, we absolutely cannot do more than once a month, and then I'll just have to go from there because again, it's their opinions that matter. So where it can be adaptable as well to make sure that it's not overwhelming people.
Any other questions? Okay. I think that was our last item on the agenda. The date of our next meeting is scheduled for October 16th. And yeah, so if anyone has any conflicts with that or isn't able to make it, you can just let Olivia and Elizabeth know. But that's our date for now. And yeah, I guess if we don't have anything else we need to discuss, then we can adjourn for today. And if so, that just requires a mover. Oh, Olivia, before we go, I might email you about that placemaking thing that you just talked about. That seems really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be happy to connect you with Kate, who's the lead on that. But it is very interesting placemaking, and especially like environmental focused placemaking is something that you can get funding for right now.
Yeah, I'll send you an email. That seems really cool. But yeah, I guess nobody else has anything. So I call for a motion to adjourn, which only requires a mover. Anyone can move.
I'll move.
Perfect. Thank you, Crystal. And yeah, so our meeting ended at 6:37 p.m. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully see you in person next time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.